Hello.
Hello, are we on?
I think we are. Uh,
Okay.
yes. I mean,
Here we go. Okay. Oh,
yeah.
oh,
Cool. Cool.
somebody. Hang on. Are we doubling? Wait.
Oh, yeah. That's. I think that's on your end.
Okay. Where is it? I don't see it. I don't have it up anywhere. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay. Never mind. All right. So now we're good.
Okay, great.
Okay. Let me get the chat up though, because that's important.
Yeah. Let us know if
Um,
sounds okay. I think sounds okay. But
if anybody's in the chat, do we sound okay? You can chime in right now. Okay. Turning this off. Oh hey, how you guys doing? Thank you for stopping by today. Really appreciate it. Yeah, okay. Sounds like we're doing okay here. Um, let me just make sure. Hello, good bad. Hi, K Bird. K Master. Wayne's fine for me. Not sure what Wayne's mean, but I guess that means there's only two voices. Want to make sure. Yeah, there's only two voices. Yeah. So there was a little echo in the beginning because I had the sounds fine to me. Okay.
cool.
Uh, yeah. Oh, 5 people in now. Nice. Okay. Keep piling in, guys. So yeah, it sounds like everything's okay. I had my video on for a second. I had it open in another tab, and I couldn't find the tab, and then I did. So we're all good now.
How many tabs do you have
So
up?
too many.
Okay.
Um, welcome to the Failing Upward holiday stream. It's just gonna be me and Jack today, but
Mhm.
I guess we can introduce ourselves. I'm Gary. I wrote and created Failing Upward, and I voiced Cody.
And I'm Jack. I'm lead animator and lead animation director, lead animator on yeah on the show, Training Upward.
You forgot what show you were.
I
No,
well, it's what I forgot my role in the show. Like I'm animation. What is it on the credits? I'm an animation director or just
you're head edit, you're director. You're
okay?
director.
All right, I blanked.
Um, yeah, we're just doing a little holiday stream, just the two of us. We also have we're gonna be we're gonna be doing doodle commissions. So if anybody wants to drop $10 in our tip jar on Kofi, we'd be more than happy to doodle stuff for you. Just make sure it's safe for YouTube, please.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm just gonna link that right now. Kofi, is it coffee or Kofi? I call it both. Um, I think it's supposed to be coffee,
I
but
emphasize on the
yeah,
O more, so I think Kofi.
yeah. Here you guys go. Kofi. Feel free to drop $10 in the tip jar if you guys want a little doodle. And we'll just for now we'll just I guess Jack will draw stuff and we'll kind of talk about it's not specifically a holiday stream, but we'll bring up holiday things. But
Like
yeah,
Easter.
I guess like Easter, we're gonna talk about Easter and Halloween and all that good stuff. But we wanted to maybe talk a little bit kind of about where we are also on the next episode.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, like it's going really well. We dropped a preview. Um, I always say Kofi rather than coffee, but it's one of those words where I usually only read it. Yeah, no, I know you don't have to usually say it, right?
Mm.
But it's a confusing website name. Yeah, we want to talk a little bit about the progression. We put up a preview. What was it, like a month ago?
It was yeah. It was in Indie Animation Day. I think around in November. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And people really seem to dig that, so we're really excited to kind of share more with you as we kind of progress. I don't want to give a date quite yet, but I will say this: that like a lot of the music stuff has been done at this point. A lot of the sound effects work is pretty much done. I think we're kind of like 95% on those ends. And then it just kind of comes down to like us finishing up the animation and everything, and
Hmm.
and getting it out to you guys. And what I've been seeing, what we've been kind of like working on so far has been like really cool looking, and we're really excited to see like the reaction to the look of this next episode. We kind of tried to do something a little different. We think kind of talked about it in the last stream a couple months ago, but like we kind of decided to kind of mix animation styles. So maybe Jack, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh well, I mean, we're definitely more so because we have obviously Nine Hammer, as he's known online, also as our also other animator that's on board, assistant animator, and he's been doing great. He's been helping out, helping us a lot with scenes and shots and whatnot, such and such. But for this episode particularly, we're kind of building upon not only having him involved with more shots, more so, but also in terms of like, because previously he was just working on scenes, like just scenes as a whole, um, for him to animate and whatnot. Whereas now it's a mixture of it's a mixture of my shots and a mixture of his shots, and we're sort of integrating them in between everything, everything in between. Well, of course, it's obviously still looks like the show, and with what it looks like, with the character designs and whatnot. It's just that you might notice that uh, more so that his shots and my shots are intertwined words with each other and such.
Actually,
So
intertwined.
oh, okay, all right, smartass. Well, and then you'll notice this particularly in the split screen conversation scenes where JC and Cody are talking, where basically on his side, I'm currently animating Cody's scenes, but Nine is animating JC scenes, and it's cool. I think it definitely builds upon sort of like the where the characters are in terms of like in terms of well, it builds upon like they're both in different spaces. And I like the idea of like integrating that within the animation of like you know of us animating these characters differently while at the same time keeping them on model. So um,
Mm,
it's building up upon that. I feel like that's just good. It's a good way to sort of like build up upon you know the having the characters far apart but stuck together in a way. So um,
sure. Yeah, we had kind of talked about like the visual storytelling in that for sure. Like
mhm.
where it's like they're kind of coming from two different viewpoints, so why not animate them in two different styles more or less? And it's funny, the more we kind of like get into it, the more you watch it, the more it kind of like blends together better in a
Yeah,
weird way.
yeah,
Where it's like you're kind of sitting and you're at first your eyes might kind of be like, whoa, like that's a little trippy. And then like the more they get into their conversation, the more it kind of like balances out of just like it's like visual wise. I don't know how to really describe it, but it has a really cool effect, I think. And I feel like it's unified very well by Miranda Jacoby, who did the backgrounds.
hmm
Um, she kind of unifies both styles very, very well, in my opinion. So yeah, that's a really cool like little effect we did. And then like this episode, as people may have seen, like from the clip we put out, like we're kind of getting into more like maybe realistic kind of woes 20 somethings might have, specifically with like living on your own and stuff like that, and kind of like the consequences, not consequences, but kind of like the problems that arise with that. So from a writing perspective, this one is probably my favorite out of the five that we're doing so far.
mm.
um so K-Bird says, I'm excited to see how it looks. If it is the teaser that was shown, I'm excited to see how that is for the episode. The two different styles with the two characters sounds cool to me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's cool because like we also did that, also kind of permeates throughout the whole episode within like the solo scenes with each character. We kind of had um Ninehammer and Jack trade off on that a bit, where they're each kind of doing different shots, but they all correlate very well. And once again, I think that is kind of due to like Wes Ends, who did the storyboards too, kind of like I think even within the storyboards he kind of changes up the style, which is nice.
Mm.
Um, like he like from shot to shot, like depending on what the shot is, he kind of like framed it and like just like shot it in kind of like an interesting way, more or less, where like you can kind of do a character in like a maybe like an off model art style that doesn't like it goes with the kind of action that's happening, so it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like it doesn't feel out of character. It doesn't look off. You know, you think about like how there you might be watching like a cartoon or sometimes and like you'll see something that looks very off model when it's supposed to be like it's not supposed to be, but like here there's like thematic reasons for it to look off model, which is really
Mm.
cool in my opinion.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, it's just really exciting. And then like just from my perspective, like the soundtrack we put together for this one, which I don't want to spoil. I mean, like it's kind of like I will say like one of the cool things we got to do was because I'll say it because it was in the clip, but one of the cool bands that we got was Panchico, who if you haven't looked up their story, it's very very fascinating how that band actually kind of got a second wind recently. I highly recommend. There's a couple really really great videos on them. But yeah, just really cool stuff. I really like that song that we used. And then a lot of the other tracks are really awesome as well. And um, a friend of mine, Charlie, is doing the music for this one, like the score more or less. So his music's really really cool. So yeah, like it's just kind of been it's been a lot of fun kind of putting this one together and snapping all the pieces, and we really just can't wait to share it. It's been an interesting process getting this one out. Kind of
Yes.
from yeah, from the like just starting off to where we are now. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So I
I would like to say from I mean, I think I yeah, I we I would like to say if I can understand that there's been a lot of like delays with this episode, and I do like to apologize if for people who have been waiting for this episode for quite some time, especially the next one in terms of like because I mean I think we would have um I think we would have gotten it out sooner, definitely early on this year, but some things happened, some some personal matters, while also like just some opportunities came up for us
yeah
that some people had to at my end especially some had to take in terms of like some work and whatnot. So um, there's some aspects of like that of course that the delay on this episode, but the main matter is that it's coming out sooner than you think, and we're
yeah
definitely so much more closer to it being out now than before. I think we're just trying to make sure we're definitely much more care with it in terms of
yeah.
like
We don't want to rush it out. I feel like
yeah
if we didn't care, we'd be like, just throw it out. We don't care. But like I think with each episode we want to improve a little bit on the
yeah
last one.
yeah
So like we are kind of taking the time to kind of assess what's worked in the last two, and then what hasn't worked,
hmm
and kind of implementing that into each new episode, like into this episode. And that's going to keep continuing through
yeah
through the next two after that. But
yeah
I will say I feel like we kind of streamlined a lot of things this time, which was nice. Like,
yes
you know, yeah, even though it has taken a little while, I feel like we've streamlined enough to where like um it's it feels like it's kind of moving faster, even though like it's been taking a little while.
yeah
But like we saw results a lot faster this time. We
hmm
were able to actually implement. I feel like we've been able to implement changes faster. Like when we see something that's kind of like hit hit kind of we've hit a snag. We've been able to kind of like fix that snag pretty fast.
hmm
Um, as compared to the other ones, we kind of just like we had a little trouble or something like that, or like we didn't notice till like the last minute, you know what I mean, or something
yeah
like that. Like this one, we've kind of been better at catching snags early on and pushing forward. And kind of to Jack's point about like, oh yeah, like some people have like opportunities. I think that's kind of like I feel like that's one of the things in indie animation where like you kind of just have to step back and be like, okay, well, people's lives come first, first and
yeah
foremost. Like we're not a big studio, we don't have like healthcare plans or anything like that. So it's just like
we
it's like if you got to
what
go do something. Yeah. Sorry to let you know, Jack.
that's it I'm out no
I have not been contributing to your 401k.
not even
Uh,
dental oh boy
but no, I just think it's so much more important to let somebody kind of like go and do something. Like and
mm.
like It's
Yeah.
very. I think one of the things that indie animators know is that they need to take care of themselves first and foremost.
Hmm.
And that goes for like indie writers too. Like I think if you don't want to burn yourself out on something, I think stepping away is really important. And it's just kind of like healthy to do. These are like we want to get to the point where where we can function a little more kind of like
Yeah.
streamlined and get stuff out faster for sure. But right now it is kind of just like a couple guys making stuff. It's really just right at this point. I believe at this point in the process rather, it's me, you, and Nine more or less.
Yeah.
As Miranda was on earlier, but her backgrounds are done, and then Wes finished a while back. But it's just like at this point, it's kind of just like three guys making something, and it's going really well. I guess it's just sometimes things take longer, but I'd rather they take longer and look good than kind of rushing stuff out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think kind of like maybe one of the things that like I just do want to highlight is just like I want to get back to like mental health on these indie projects because like I see a lot of people start stuff and then they kind of get burned out, and I think it's really important to kind of like step back and also just like understand that like some of these aren't like full-time jobs. And if they're not a full-time job, you can't treat it like a full-time job.
Mm.
So you do have to like really look at for yourself, and like if it means the project takes a hit, it's more important that somebody is able to do something outside of the project
Yeah.
and their career that way.
Hmm.
I would always like rather somebody do that than be like, oh, I'm gonna be committed to this like no matter what. I'm like, no, please, like please go do something else if it's gonna pay. If it's gonna pay better.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Um, yeah. But no, it's been a wild ride so far. So I'm really like excited to get this out. And that was like another thing. Like we posted these on Newgrounds recently, and they took off, which I was very excited about. Specifically, Sick Day got like 10K views, which was
Mm.
like that's like crazy. And I'm like, I don't know. We got featured. We got feature of the day, right? Like
Yeah.
we got that. We got front page for Sick Day, and it was up for like a month and a half.
Yeah.
So really cool stuff.
Yes. Thank you to everyone on Newgrounds who've commented and liked and just really like had the reception for that. Giving us good reception for that work. For the episodes we posted on there.
Yeah,
Because it means a lot, and I mean, it means a lot to me in terms of like obviously I've grown up in Newgrounds for ages, and then it's been a while since I've actually tuned in on that community really, but now being like in it and sort of like seeing the responses and whatnot, it's actually been really eye opening and actually really really cool to like to see 'cause I mean I always knew that Newgrounds was a thriving art and animation and just in terms of like that community and is so like yeah, it's such a it's strong, passionate community and stuff. So to see the reception we got for those episodes has been really motivating, and we really appreciate it a lot.
yeah. Um, so we do have a commission request.
Uh oh.
Uh, yeah. So this was from K-Bird. Uh, he wants Lily from Tekken. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Uh, yes, nice. We're getting ready to fighting game characters.
All right.
She has like a Christmas outfit. That's kind of cool. Got like a white and red outfit. That's dope.
Uh, just trying to. Yeah.
You could do it. Yeah,
What? What? So, what's the character again?
Lili, Lili from Tekken.
Is this from Tekken 8? Is this from Tekken 8 or Tekken 7? Tekken 7.
Tekken
Okay.
7, yeah, and Tekken 8. She's in both.
Okay. Cool. Good.
I could always count on K-Bird to bring up like these obscure. K-Bird, by the way, was responsible for the Barcy
Oh, it's you.
Yeah.
You're responsible for my nightmare. Sound okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, well, let me do my best with that. Okay. By the way, I don't know if
You
you
can also
noticed Piper build a snowman here. Or Sam the Snowman, sorry, rather.
Short notice. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to just post something really quick. Brian, Kofi. Sorry for the silence, guys. I will be right back with you. Piper the Snowman is so good. Oh my god. Yes.
I was on a Rankin Bass roll, clearly, so
Yeah.
despite not being familiar
I
with
feel
it.
like she would be the Snowman. I feel like she would be like Frosty in that scenario. So I
Okay.
just want to go read the chat a little bit again as well. Oh yeah, saw you got death metal in the background. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Yeah, that was really cool. I just literally the process is I just email artists and I get their permission because
Mm.
YouTube has a pretty good system for kind of like um for music at this point if you want to use it, as long as you know they if the copyright system catches it, it catches it, but like they're not gonna, it's not like the old days where they just take your video down. I just make sure I get permission, and most of the people are kind of like, yeah, no problem. And we haven't had an issue yet, which has been nice. And I actually uploaded the newest episode with all the music in it, and like it looks pretty good. So we're not gonna have any snags, which is really nice. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool when we get to hear the rest of the soundtrack. We got some pretty good artists this time around. Don't want to
Mm.
spoil it, but pretty cool. But yeah. Hang on, I'm just gonna finish this post. Do Kofi. Okay, hang on. Is that the yes? Yes. Okay. Um. Stream. Kofi. Okay. Very engaging thing going on right now. I apologize.
It's okay. It's
There
cool.
we go. Okay, yeah. Okay. There we go. Oh, and then I gotta rate it E for everyone.
Gosh, I haven't thought about Tekken. I mean, to be fair, I've been aware of like I think Tekken 7. Tekken 7 was a pretty good one. I mean, they've all been pretty. They've picked up definitely in terms of the recent games, I believe. So
Yeah.
it's
What was the one with the? I think it was Tekken 8. The one with like the crate, like that really loud, like dubstep song. Do you know the one I'm talking about, Jack? It's like a really loud electronic song that's like bum 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 bum.
yeah, that's every dubstep song. Um,
Yeah, well, no. Maybe K Bird knows what I'm talking about. It's
okay.
like it's one of the stages where like I forgot what happened in it. It's just like it's just really loud, aggressive techno. Like, and it's hang on, let me see what the stage is.
I mean, okay, maybe, yeah.
Loud Tekken song. Yeah, it's Tekken 7. I know which one it is. I could probably find it real quick. Yeah, just give me the title if you can, because I just can't remember it. But I just thought it was so funny, like that they thought this was like adequate, like not adequate, but like appropriate music for Tekken. It was funny.
I don't know. I feel like it's definitely on brand in terms of Tekken. I think of some techno-esque
No,
pieces.
I know, but it's just like loud. That's the problem. It's like it's absurdly loud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like it's like ear bleeding. Um I still think it's very hard to top it's hard to kind of top the
What's he
what
going
you
to be doing
call
on
it.
here? Hang on.
The it's hard to top the Tekken Tag Tournament soundtrack. I think that might have the
Mm,
best music.
there is one I'm trying to think of that I remember being like, oh, this slaps. So it's I'm trying to struggle trying to remember it. I'm awful with track names anyway in terms of like Do you know the one that goes do 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 do? You know,
Yeah.
that's the extent of
Well, you
my.
can just think of you just think of the stage, like what stage it's from.
I'm bad with stage names as well. Like I don't know, like you know.
Describe the stage.
Oh sure, no, narrow it down.
You see, if Soul Wax did the songs, you would know.
Yeah, no, yeah, I would know like all the Soul Wax songs. Like name me any Soul Wax songs. I don't know it. Actually, that's a
Soul
lot.
Wax was Soul Wax ever in a video game?
Yeah, they did Soul Wax FM for the GTA 5. They were on the
Oh,
radio
really?
station. Yeah, there were radio stations that did mix for it. So
Okay, that's cool.
yeah, yeah, it's
I
cool.
didn't know that. Yeah.
And they also recently did the soundtrack for the GTA Online. One of the online things recently. Um, uh, Drug Wars DLC doodah. I don't know, some event or DLC for the GTA Online. So
Mhm.
uh,
Uh, I only have one Soul. I have only one. I think I have a CD from them, and then I have a vinyl. It's the split they did with Pulp, I think, or like the Pulp remix
oh,
they
the Pulp
did.
remix, yeah, that's on the GTA. That was the one. That was also on the GTA one. Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I love that remix. Other than again, we're a big, obviously a big Pulp fan,
Yeah,
and of course that was a obviously that was a dream come true when they sort of mixed that together.
that's awesome. I'm trying to
Yeah,
figure out the album. I know this is a very niche discussion, but I think the album I have. Oh, Much Against Everyone's Advice.
yeah. Oh, that's yeah, definitely. Definitely before they went a bit more electronic. I guess with
Yeah,
their
that's
music.
more of like a rock album.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Too Many DJs is the track I know from that.
yeah, yeah. Which in turn is their DJ alias as well. So
That's funny.
yeah. Although it's spelled.
Was like Any Minute Now the one where they kind of went more
Yeah,
electronic?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And then they did a remix. They remixed that album and called it Night Versions. Um, and then yeah, and then they didn't release an album for 11 years. it's, like, it's funny. There's a documentary that they did as well, and James Murphy from LCD is a good friend of theirs, and he explains like the process with them being like just how the creative process for them when they're making it like albums and stuff. It's like hey, do you want to go DJ later? Oh, sorry, man, we're working on the record. Just one more week. It's like, oh, okay. Hey, do you want to go? Oh, I'm sorry, just one more week. We're so close. And then the next week, he's like, well, how about now? Like, just one more week with just the final touches. And it's like, we hate everything on the album. Scrap it. We're gonna try again. It's like it's like I feel like
mm,
that's the creative process in general. Just to see
yeah.
how just like oh man, is I can't it's you're not satisfied with everything. Just like fail it, try it again. Um,
Uh, by the way, the second track I was thinking it was called Distorter. So if you
yeah.
look up Distorter, yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I think I know that one. Yeah.
yeah, it's something. Very Christmassy Tekken. Very Chris. Are there any Christmassy Tekken levels? Well, there's
Yeah.
no. There's an ending. There's an ending where King gives like dresses up as like Santa and gives kids a bunch of gifts.
And he doesn't dress up as Santa. It's just him, but he just like drops off presents at the door with this. The F&B is so funny. It's just like he just arrives and then he obviously everything's CG except for these real life like parent and children. And he drops off the
Yeah.
presents and he walks away and then the live action children just run up and jump around him and stuff. And obviously he's happy, but of course it's like 90s FMV
So he
streets.
looks.
It's like like, can he express so much with his weird sort of face, so it's.
He's a luchador, right?
Oh, it's. I thought he was. I'm thinking of like the. Well, he's a panther man, isn't he? Or
No, well, hang on,
uh,
K-Bird. Is King a luchador or is he an actual like Panther Man?
oh, is
I
he
need to.
okay? Oh, that's his fighting style. Ah,
Yeah. I figured he was a luchador. Because then there's Armored King, who's also like his partner, I think, his tag
mm,
partner.
yeah,
Um, and then there's like Armored King 2, who's like King's original brother or something. It's so convoluted.
yeah,
Um, it's so crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, King
I,
and luchador, K-Bird.
the lore of Tekken is crazy. I mean, I can't believe. But then again, it's great because I think it just it you know it's so committed to it, and like it's not afraid to like be what it is, kind of in the sense of just like I mean
Mm,
it's it,
and this when games were earnestly silly.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah
that was kind of fun.
I,
I
what did
remember
you
Tekken 3 had like Gon, the manga character Gon as a secret character.
oh really
Um,
wow
yeah, little dinosaur guy.
yes I remember
Um,
yeah
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we kind of don't. I mean, there are earnestly silly games. Don't get me wrong, but like I
hmm
feel like mainstream games are so serious business now. There's no room for being silly anymore. We have to make the
um
silliness with games.
I don't know. I mean, it's still. I mean, I still think just like Capcom, with, Street Fighter. They,
Yeah, true. That's
you
not
know,
wrong. Yeah.
it's that Street Fighter is definitely still out there, just like doing its thing, and I mean, I'm glad that this new game they released is definitely more of a pickup than um the last one that they released. Although saying that, I think the story mode was actually okay. I think in that last Street Fighter. So,
Oh. And that's the Are you talking about the create a character mode or the story mode?
oh, do you mean in the last game or the game that
Yeah,
came
the
out?
Street Fighter. Yeah, Street Fighter. The last game.
I don't think you is that a creative mode? I can't remember actually. I don't actually. I remember just this. I can't quite remember properly. I don't know if we were following different character story, and then that's where the story came in and stuff like that. But
Well, I know that there's a create a character mode in the latest Street Fighter, and that you can play a story with that create a character.
yes,
Um, and then there's that, but there's also a regular story mode, I guess, too.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Don't I think so. Don't quote me, but yes, ish.
So yeah, I mean those games are still silly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
I understand. It's very. It's then again, it's so hard to get like I guess
all
a big
AAA games are like first person shooters and stuff, or like Elden Ring and stuff, like just like bash your brains out, like horror games. Like
yeah.
I don't know. We have to kind of look to indie games for the future of just kind of having fun. Um,
It's I
I
mean
don't know.
it's still
I mean, that's fair. Mhm.
it's still there. It's still like I mean, think about it. I mean, if games like Baldur's Gate, 3 proves anything, is that a game can be what it is without any of the stigma that comes with, I guess, games nowadays of like online and loot crates and just a lot of things that come within it and rush development and whatnot like that. I mean that one game of the year to prove it. That at the Game Awards, and just like that game is like it's got so much in it, and it's the most video game I've seen this year. Because it's not afraid to be what it is. It's not about the graphics, it's about the gameplay, and that gameplay is very like it's an RPG, and it's an RPG based around the D&D system, which is such a weird like you would kind of feel like how can this transcribe, and yet it does in a way that works. So
Yeah,
I'm really like surprised how that game came out in terms of like now of course I'm not a big RPG guy, but at the same time it's just like wow, this is I get it, like this game's got legs, and it shows. So
for sure. Um,
okay, I'm
so
just
yeah, I actually wanted to mention something about games. We were kind of getting to like '90s games with Tekken and everything, but
mhm.
you ever played the game? Or I'm sure you've heard of it. Nights in the Dreams.
Oh yeah, I I had the Wii
The
game,
remake.
the Wii
Yeah.
adaptation.
Or
Yeah.
it wasn't a remake. It was just a sequel, right?
Yes, I don't. Maybe I really can't tell. I can't tell you. It was such a weird game. Um, and to be honest, I feel like it's a very niche game as well in terms of like what it is. Um,
Art house game.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean it was. It's by. I mean it's by the guy. Isn't it by the guy who did
It's
Ballad?
Yuji Naka.
Yeah, it was neat. Didn't he do Ballad in Wonderland or?
Yeah, and Sonic.
Well, yeah, yes, he was also behind Sonic, and I guess Sonic Team was also behind, I guess, in general. But yeah, it
Yeah.
is. But then again, it's such a weird. It is a. It's. I feel like it's such a weird game that like that. I mean, but then I don't know. I can't really think. Like I think back to it, and I'm just like, where did the what was? I mean, I understand the game, but at the same time, it's like what was the? like there's a game here, but it's like, what is this game in terms of like, if it's such a weird niche little game, I guess. I don't know. It was just, I guess that what made it stand out when it definitely came out first in the Dreamcast. It was just because it was just such a, you know, and it worked for
Mhm.
that game console because it was such a niche machine, at the time, full of like. But at the same time, it was great because it gave all these great ideas and stuff like that. We wouldn't have Sam and the Amigo, Space Channel 5, Jet Set Radio, da
Yeah.
da da da, Crazy Taxi, and so forth. It's just, it just it worked on that system because it was such a, gosh,
Yeah.
I think about all the great Capcom fighters on that game as well because Capcom did a lot of fight. I think of Tech Romancer. You ever heard of Tech Romancer?
No, I don't. I know the name. I've never played it.
That was a mech fighting game, and it was like you're in. It was not like a side by side. You were like going around the battlefield, like fighting each other. But it was like an open ground, and you could just go at it with these robots and like special moves. And the story was, I mean, it was Capcom always had like these sort of like very lore based stories with their characters, forward and all these special attacks and whatnot, and these all these soundtrack was, it was there's so much budget went into these like little things, but made it so, you know like the animated intro as well. It's like, gosh, like, this slaps. It's such a
Sure.
interesting game. So, um, yeah, I just think about like that. Oh, gosh, I mean, the whole Dreamcast in general. Anyway, that's such a what an
Yeah.
amazing system. Yeah.
I had a Dreamcast as a kid, and it was fascinating. I rented a lot more stuff than I owned for it.
All right.
Because like I don't know why necessarily, but like it was always just like the Sonic machine for me. Like it's just like I played Sonic on the Dreamcast,
Yeah.
but I also had Crazy Taxi. I had an NFL game, I'm sure. I had both Sonic Adventures. I had Psychic Force 20 something 20.
I swear.
Hang on, what is it called? Psychic Force. It better not be called 2015. I'm gonna die if that's what it's called. Make me feel old. Psychic Force 2010.
Wow.
Is
Okay.
it? Oh, hang on. Force. Oh, 2012. I'm sorry. Psychic. It was just called Psychic Force, I guess. Wait. What's the one I'm trying to think of? It's the one for the Dreamcast. Am I not? Psychic Force 2012. That's the one I had.
Oh, okay.
And it was like this. It was a very weird idea for a fighting game where you're both floating, and you're using psychic attacks against each other. It's funny. I'm looking. Somebody somebody reviewed the game. They gave it a bad review. That's the only one I could find.
Oh no.
But no, I remember enjoying that game. I had those games, but I mostly rented stuff from my Dreamcast. Later in life,
Hmm.
I got a Saturn because I was just curious. I got a Saturn for $50, which is you can't even like fathom something going for that cheap these days.
Yeah.
But
What was that
yeah,
over? Is that do we call it the Sega Saturn over here? I wonder what we call it over here. We had different
hang on,
names.
Sega Saturn. What was it called? Well, you guys called the Genesis the Mega Drive.
Yes. Oh, I guess it was just called the Saturn then. Still over here.
Yeah, it's called Saturn.
Okay. Cool.
Um, that's the one like Dragoon came out on, and
Hmm.
like the original Nights into Dreams. Um, but no, Nights into Dreams is really interesting. I wanted to bring it up because for two Christmas reasons, because this ties back into holiday stream. We're doing holiday stream stuff again. Um, this ties back into that. Um, so specifically, there's a variant for Nights that was made in like a weekend or something, or like 2 weeks, called Christmas Nights. Where it's just it's more or less the same game but with Christmas cutscenes and theming.
Oh, okay.
Um, so there's that. Um, and I believe you have to. I think it has something to do with the internal clock on the system, where if you turn it to Christmas, that's how you access and play the game.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I think you buy the disc and then you have to like change to actually play it. You have to change your clock to Christmas. I could be wrong. I could be totally talking crap right now. I don't know, but I think there is something there. But also more interestingly, um, the original Nights, the menu music
Yeah.
if you listen very closely,
Okay.
you can hear people talking in the background, and the clips of people talking are from Home Alone. It's
Oh,
very odd. Yeah.
okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so the game is oddly Christmas themed, even if you're not playing the Christmas version. Um, very, very, very interesting
Okay.
idea for that.
We're gonna
But
work on.
yeah,
I was just gonna say also, by the way, we're gonna work. We're gonna get back to Lily's eyes in a minute. Just currently having a. It's very. They're very. I mean, gosh, anime is not my strong form, so I'm trying to like figure out how to adapt her eyes. So I'll come back to the face in a minute, chat. Promise.
um, I was thinking about oh yeah, because we were talking about how like, oh man, it'd be cool if we can get the next Family Up for Christmas, and even though it's kind of like a spookier episode, it could be still like the Nightmare Before Christmas episode or something. It's
Yeah.
technically Halloween and a Christmas thing.
Yeah.
Um, so we were kind of joking about that, but then I kind of got interested in watching Henry Selick stuff. Uh,
Mm.
so I rewatched Monkey Bone recently.
I saw you. Yes, I saw your
Yeah,
tweet about that.
yeah. Are
Yeah.
you are you familiar with this movie?
I know of this movie. I remember it. I remember seeing it advertised, and I think it was. I think. Well, I think saw it advertised when I was young, and it. I think I was a bit. I was a bit freaked out. I mean, I guess because like it looked a bit weird, but at the same time, I was like curious because it looked very. Again, well, granted, it looked very fun or funny. I don't know. And I mean, the fact is, well, it helped when you have like like a stop motion monkey. So I was
Yeah,
like, oh, this is, and I was thought, oh, this animation style looks a bit familiar. And then of course I would have known later on that it was the Henry Selick, Nightmare Before Christmas guy. So um, yeah, it was quite yeah, So I think it's a very. I mean, gosh, have I watched it? I have, but I don't.
does it feel like a fever dream to you where you can't quite recall everything? Is it
Kinda.
one of like those? Yeah.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, it's very. I mean, I think it's very like interesting film in terms of like what it is. It's a very like
It's something you wouldn't expect like a major studio to take a chance on.
yeah. I think it's yeah. It's weird, but I don't think it's but like not bad weird. Just very like wow, they made this, huh? I guess but it's like I didn't think it wasted my time. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't have an opinion on it. Maybe I'll have to watch it again at some point. But
No, so
uh,
I actually rewatched it this weekend and I found it very fascinating. And you could actually look up interviews with Henry Selick where he says like, "Oh yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare to make.
yeah,
So many things were cut from it." And I really empathized with him. I thought his kind of journey to make it was very fascinating.
yeah, loved it.
Specifically, like I don't know if you know the whole story, but it was adapted from a one-issue comic book.
Oh, I did not know
Um,
that. No.
yeah, it's a one-issue comic book that was supposed to have more to it, but it never did, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Did
and
did he did he make the comic book or?
did not. This was just some obscure indie author.
Oh, right. Okay. Interesting.
Somehow it ended up in Selleck's hands, and he was like, "I want to do this." Um, and the comic is not really like the movie, except for the whole like person dies and goes to like this weirdly weird abstract limbo
Oh, okay.
type place. Like that main idea is still there, but there's no monkey bone in the comic or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
It's that was all kind of like added in drafts after Henry Selick, because the way Selick originally wanted to do it was very fascinating. He wanted to do it like his other stuff is like a Nightmare Before Christmas or James and the Giant Peach, where it was all stop motion, no live
Yeah.
action.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, wait.
and there's some
That did have live action. Oh, well, sorry. You mean like that's the style he wanted, like live action,
yeah,
which is.
he just wanted a straight stop motion film, just
Oh,
like no live action.
Oh, I see. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So he eventually I guess I don't know what happened between
Oops.
his concepts for that and the Brendan Fraser version, but I guess the studio stepped in and was like, "Hey, we'd like to do this live action." And then we can kind of like bring your style into it.
Hmm.
Um and he's like, yeah, let's give it a shot, because it's not like Henry Selick hasn't worked in live action before, because
No.
he shot music videos for Fishbone, which if you watch Wendell and Wild, the main character has a Fishbone T-shirt at one point, which I thought was
Nice.
a really cool callback. And then there's I was gonna say what else was there? There was oh yeah, he did a short film for MTV called Slow Bob and the Lower Dimensions.
Hmm.
If you haven't seen it, it was supposed to be a pilot for an MTV kind of surrealist and hybrid animation, live action hybrid, a live action animation hybrid,
Okay.
about a guy who goes to different dimensions and kind of is like a superhero in other dimensions, but he's like a loser in real life. It's kind of it's a fun concept. You can see like the DNA for Monkey Bone in that a little bit.
Yeah.
But like it's interesting. I think Monkey Bone is, unfortunately was marred by, a little studio interference. It's kind of
Hmm.
like edited to hell. He said he's wanted to do director's cut for years, but it's cool. It's always a little disappointing where it's like, oh man, like this kind of stuff, for better or worse, used to exist.
Yeah.
And like, if you could do it, because now you see like so many people write articles like, oh wow, remember this box office bomb? And it's like, no, this was really interesting, and like
Yeah.
there was maybe an interesting idea of like creator versus creation in that.
Yeah.
So like I was very intrigued while watching it again.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's very fascinating. Anyway, that was my long spiel to say you should draw Cody and JC as Monkey Bone and the Brendan Fraser.
Great.
That'll be the next.
Who's
We
Monkey
can make
Bone?
that, just put Monkey Bone in a Christmas hat.
Okay.
But I don't know who would be Monkey Bone and who would be JC. It would be Brendan Fraser.
How about we make
Like,
Mark as Monkey Bone?
oh my god, and Cody can be the Brendan Fraser
Brendan Fraser
character.
character. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
That's great.
great.
Yeah, yeah. All right,
Yeah.
we'll work on that next. Yeah.
Awesome.
This character's just so detailed, so I'm sorry if it's taking a little bit longer with this one.
No, it's cool. This is looking good. K-Bird, what are you thinking so far? But yeah, I don't know. Henry is such an interesting guy, and like I'm so glad he got the rights to the Shadow King back.
Oh, did he? That's brilliant. That's great.
Yeah, and I just hope they get the original team to work on that.
Yeah,
Like I hope he gets everybody who he wanted on it.
yeah,
It's gonna be really cool. Like his stuff like is always so visually like and like viscerally like cool looking.
hmm
And like his stuff takes time, but like
yeah,
there's never been a Henry Selick movie where I'm like, oh, like that wasn't worth time. Like every time, like, oh my god, there's so much love and care was put into this.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm glad he's still making his work. You know,
Oh
I'm still glad he's still here with us, sort of like doing his, his craft and such like that. Because I agree.
yeah,
And especially in the stop motion, world where that's such a, it's almost like a dying art. I mean, literally, the factory that Arman uses to make their plasticine clay and for their characters, is was shut down, and now they only got enough clay to make
yeah.
the next
The,
Wallace and
the
Gromit
Armstrong
film.
thing. Oh my god, yeah. That's awful.
That's
But
crazy. Yeah, I didn't know that was the case.
I didn't know you could run out of clay. That's good.
Just use blue
I
tack.
thought it was an infinite resource.
Yeah,
you just type in clay on your computer and it appears in your home.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But no, they're making one more Wallace and oh no, is it a Wallace and Gromit they're making next?
I think so. Well, that's what they said in the whatever the who posted it. I think it was either Discussion Film on Twitter. Or it was some kind of report saying that they only have enough clay to work on the next Wallace and Gromit, which I didn't know they were actually working on. So, uh, you know, hey, cool announcement, but like, bad news. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
I mean, I hope they can figure out a way to get around it. Like surely they can. Like, can they not buy the formula? Can they not like? I guess it's a
I
funding thing though.
I don't know what the clay trade laws are in the UK.
I have no idea either.
Yeah. but
That's
I think they'll be fine. They'll probably just get a new supplier.
sure.
That's just typically how that works. But I think what it was that the supplier they were working with, they must have been working with for decades. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like so, I think that was more of the shock of like, oh my god, these people that we've relied on, we haven't even thought of like ever changing. Like they're just not going to be around anymore. So now we have to kind of like look for another thing.
yeah,
Um, Whereas Leica, I don't know where Leica gets their clay from, but like I'm sure it's much more easy for them to be like to find different people. They have major studio backing most of the time. So like, wait,
yeah.
I guess they do. Hang on, let me check my DVDs to see if
Okay,
I what was Kubo put out by? Kubo was put out by Focus. Yeah, so yeah, typically major studios and stuff like
okay.
that. When it's distributed and everything.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong. They might just. I don't know. I don't know who. Maybe it's the producer too. The producer's probably dropping money on that too. But Aardman just seems so like just so indie. You know what I mean? In comparison, like it really they feel like a They just feel like they make stuff and then they find just like a distributor to put the movie out. Like they'll make
yeah,
it regardless of a studio backing it.
yeah. Well, they did technically start as indie, but then I guess with some feature films like Chicken Run, there's a collaboration with DreamWorks, and DreamWorks. I mean, they managed to get what did they do with DreamWorks? It was Chicken Run, Flushed Away,
Oh, you're right. They did work with
and
DreamWorks. You're
and
right. I forgot.
and it was the Wallace and Gromit film. Yeah, it was the Were Rabbit one. So
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah, so
I'm just so used to hearing Aardman before any other studios. So like, because they also did Creature Comforts, right?
yes,
Yeah. Okay. So Creature Comforts was indie, and that was through the BBC.
that was through. Well, if you're talking about the series, I think that was through ITV, which is
Oh,
the
okay.
the other. Well, for us, that was the other channel. Although I don't know if channel. Well, it's funny. I think Channel 4 funded some of their independent. They did some other mini shorts that they did for Channel 4. That was in the same way of Creature Comforts being like using real voices or real interview voices and then putting that to animation. And did that kind of thing for a bit with Channel 4. And
Yeah.
then, but like in terms of the series of Creature Comforts, I remember that being shown on ITV over here, which is, I guess, it's how do you describe ITV? I guess it's the it's it's the other big channel, but like it's not funded. It no, is it government funded? I actually can't remember. Channel 4 is definitely not government funded. Um, I don't know if 5 is or not, but then again, Channel 5 is very is the oddball channel. We all have those oddball channels that just like we're gonna show whatever and whatever, and we're just gonna be there, So
Mm.
which is cool.
So I looked it up, by the way.
Okay.
And Leica has primarily worked with Pictures. That has been kind of their their distributor primarily, and then
Oh,
it
okay.
seems like they kind of like get producers on board to fund I guess the production itself.
Ah,
um
okay.
so,
Yeah.
that's that Leica seems pretty indie, and then they just have a distributor help them out.
Yeah. Well, isn't the one of the co-creators or co-founders like doesn't he own Nike or whatever? I forget as well.
Right, I forgot about this whole thing actually now
Like
that you said that,
that's why they haven't gone out of business. Is because one of their
because they have Nike.
because they have a guy who works in Nike. Yeah. So
I
which
had
good.
completely forgotten about that till now. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There
So
you go. Yeah. Thank you for the education. Thank you for not letting me spread misinformation.
yeah. No.
Uh, appreciate it.
All right.
Um,
I think I'm done. Let me see if I'm missing. Well, I can put I can put in a bit of color in this. Let me just put a bit of basic color and then we'll move on.
okay. Do holiday monkey bone.
Just should we make this? I mean, I don't know. Well, she's wearing red and red.
See, we wanted to go. We wanted to do like, oh, Nightmare for Christmas. Cody and JC is Jack and Sally, and I'm like, I was thinking while I was watching Monkey Bone, I was like, we should just do Monkey Bone. Cody and Mark. I guess it'd be Cody
Yeah,
and Mark, but
yeah.
yeah, that would that would actually be that works so perfectly.
Okay, cool.
Um, that movie, I just think doesn't have enough fan art, doesn't have enough merch. We just need all of. We need to make a Monkey Bone resurgence.
Shut. Can we get some monkeys in the chat right now? You know, can
Yeah,
we?
monkey. Can we get some a monkey in the chat,
Yeah,
please?
yeah, yeah.
To return. I love just how like into the like how into the like the bone aspect they played into with the promotion where like the
Yeah.
tagline was literally "Get boned."
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I feel like it's poor insight though. To surely he would have known that would not. Well, then again, I guess it was the '90s, so I guess anything went. So you know,
Yeah.
I guess it was like
Yeah.
going for like a Ren and Stimpy esque kind of thing. Where it was just like,
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think what's interesting about that movie in particular is that like it shows how I feel like, and I don't because it's interesting how Henry always ties back to Tim Burton a little bit. Um,
hmm,
in so much that like Tim does Beetlejuice, and Beetlejuice is like really popular, and a lot of studios kind of try to recreate that a little bit. I felt like,
yeah,
um, you had like, this is just kind of critics comparing things, but I remember Roger Ebert said like Drop Dead Fred was kind of like a way to do like a new Beetlejuice, with what's his name,
Rick Mail.
not, yeah, Rick Mail.
Yeah.
Um, and then like there were other things like Freaked. I don't know if you ever heard of that movie with Alex Winter, the guy who played Bill and Bill and Ted.
Oh no, I haven't.
Very much, yeah, yeah. If you're interested in kind of like cool stop motion and puppetry and kind of makeup effects, Freaked is a really fun one to watch.
Oh, sound.
Um,
Cool.
yeah. It's really good. I think it might be up on YouTube. Don't quote me. I've had the DVD for years, but it's out of print now.
Ooh, okay.
But it's about Alex Winter, who plays this really snobby actor, and he's going to go promote a horrible chemical down in South America, and he ends up getting caught up in a freak show, and it turns out that chemical was being used to make freaks for the freak show, and like all of them have these like crazy prosthetics on their face, like it's
Oh, wait,
yeah,
yes. I think doesn't that film has some really good jokes, right? I think,
yes, it's really funny.
yeah. Doesn't
It's
have
very funny.
isn't there like a kid who falls he falls from the
Yes, yeah, it's become like a source of gifts now.
yeah. I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, I from what I saw from that film, I was like, this is too good. Like, what? How is this not
Yeah,
gotten?
yeah. Monkey Bone kind of falls into that category. I've always
Okay,
felt like of just like things like the supernatural comedy. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
the late '80s, like into the '90s supernatural comedy. And Monkey Bone came out in 2001,
yeah,
and I don't know, maybe maybe it was. It's both kind of ahead, and like I think it's a little too like connected to like maybe the tone of it was a little too connected to Beetlejuice, but also maybe it was a little too ahead of its time, and it's more kind of like psychological like
mm,
leanings where it's
yeah,
all about like nightmares and the creative process and kind of like I said, kind of like feeling intimidated by your own creations. Like I like that aspect of it a lot, and
sure, yeah.
I wish it was more. That's why I'm so interested in seeing a director's cut of it. But yes, Caber, thank you for the monkeys in chat. We really appreciate that.
Thank you,
Um,
thank you.
yeah, we gotta. I just think of the title Monkey Bone and I start laughing. Like there was a movie titled Monkey Bone that came out.
Well, it came
Yeah,
out
I
and
don't
then
know. Yeah.
it came out, and I
Go
feel
ahead.
like it came out and then it disappeared very quickly.
Yeah, and I feel like it's making a little bit of a resurgence now because people are I think because Wendell and Wild had come out and every time Henry Selick pops up, with Coraline or Wendell and Wild, like
Yeah,
those are been his two since the last time. But I feel like people are like, "Oh man, remember Monkey Bone?" And everyone's like,
yeah,
"What?" And then you show it to somebody, and was like, "This wasn't a dream. Like, this is
yeah,
real."
yeah, yeah,
That's yeah. I noticed that comment comes up a lot in like If you look up a weird movie from like the 80s or 90s,
Hmm.
there's the top comment is always gonna be like, "This wasn't a fever dream." Like, it's my favorite like reoccurring thing on YouTube. Um,
Oh my
but
gosh.
yeah, I feel like people talk about that movie the more Henry Selick is kind of becoming prominent again. I'm hoping the Shadow King comes out a little faster than Wendell the gap between Coraline and Wendell Wild. But
I mean, it's
whatever it takes, however long it takes, it's fine.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, don't
I just want more.
I mean, touch wood, he's not gonna, because I don't know how old he is, but then again, when I see him, he looks quite old. So
No, I
hopefully,
don't think he's super old. I think he's probably. I don't want to guess how old he is. I'm not going to do that.
okay,
But I don't think he's like. I think he's got probably a lot of pep in him.
okay,
Um,
good, 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 good.
yes, yes. Um, so yeah, yeah. I just hope the next one's good. Like I'm really excited, and like he never disappoints me. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I really actually rewatched James and the Giant Peach. Yeah. Oh my god, I watched 3 Henry Selick movies this year. I watched Coraline for Halloween. I watched James and the Giant Peach somewhere in between there, and then I watched Monkey Bone like over the weekend. And yeah, it's kind of been the year of Henry Selick uh, for me. Uh,
What a year! The year of Selick.
yeah, what a year! What a year! But no, James and the Giant Peach still holds up too. I like that movie a lot.
I like that movie as well.
Um,
It's just some
yeah.
good bits in that film.
Well, it
Um,
shows you, like what it's crazy that that movie was released only 2 years after, or was it 3 years? It might have been 3 years after Nightmare. So,
wow,
yeah, it
goodness.
shows you what good studio back, why studios should back stop motion to kind of make sure it can get done efficiently and doesn't burn the creators out.
Yeah.
But like I wish studios would see the value in stop motion a lot more. I was hoping Pinocchio would kind of set that off a lot. Um, but I haven't seen a whole lot of new stop motion projects except for the Shadow King being put into production,
Um, then again,
and then the
it's
new Wallace and Gromit. The new Wallace and Gromit. That's
yeah.
about it.
Then again, I don't know if it's just because the fact that these is it worth making an announcement now when it always takes so much time to
Yeah.
for these kind of things to come out and whatnot. So I mean, I
Mhm.
don't blame the fact of these films taking I mean because especially it's also I feel like a risk in terms of do you want to announce it like when you at least have half because if it's announced early it's
I hear
like
what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, look how long Pinocchio took to get made. You know,
yeah, yeah,
like I remember hearing about that when like 2009, 2010, and it just like it kind of went from person to person, and then finally it got picked up. But there's a world where that doesn't happen, and it gets canceled, unfortunately.
yeah.
But yeah, it is time consuming. It's just I'm just saying, like, typically it's something that I feel it's interesting because it's a very very like avant-garde kind of animation style. Not avant-garde, I shouldn't say, but like it's a very like an artist intensive animation style. And it really relies on patience and just like a lot
Whoops.
of work.
Whoa. Yeah.
Um, and just like really sheer willpower to get it done.
Yes.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, not saying that all animation doesn't, but that one in particular is pretty rough. It's a lot
Hmm.
of physical labor too. A
Yeah.
lot of
Oh,
physical labor. Yeah.
I can't
Um,
imagine. Yeah.
but what I was kind of trying to get at was like that's the kind of almost the perfect thing that would need studio backing to kind of get done time efficiently. You know what I mean? To where if you are pumping a lot of money into it, it can get done at a better pace. I feel like.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I don't know. Maybe I'm not talking right about it,
No. No.
but
No. No.
it is one of those things.
No.
It requires a lot of funding and it requires a lot of time and effort. So I feel
Yes.
like the artist should be paid for that time and effort.
Yeah.
Um, and far too often is it just kind of like a passion project, and it's kind of up in the air on whether or not it'll even get finished. Sometimes.
Mm.
Um, I think of that. There's that great. I don't know if you've ever watched Parks and Rec.
No, yeah, I know one. Yeah, I watched Parks and Rec.
Have you ever seen? It's Adam Scott in the show plays like one of the characters, and there's an episode where he gets really depressed, and he decides he's gonna be a stop motion animator.
Yeah, yeah,
Have you? And and he one of his friends comes over. One of the guys, I think Rob Lowe, comes over. He's like, "Oh, hey man, how you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm doing great. Like, I made a whole stop motion film. Do you want to see it?" And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he's, he just hits play, and it starts, and it's him in his bed, and he gets up, and he turns around, he stands up, and then it just stops.
yeah.
Like, just the whole video file just stops, and he's like, "Was that it?" He's like, No. There's more. Hang on, I think there's something wrong with the player." Does it again, same thing happens. He's like, "Oh my god, I spent 2 months on this." Like,
Oh,
he didn't
this.
realize. He thought he made this. Like, he's like, I sent it to Leslie's, the Amy Poehler character, and I compared it to Avatar. But
I
no, it's just like yeah, it's like and it's even like the artist thinks they've done more work on it than they have, because it's like, oh my god, like how have I only gotten this much done? It's only been 2 months.
Yeah. I mean, that's. I feel like that's just it in general. That's just animation in general. So,
Yeah, no,
that's a
yeah,
life story, kind of thing where it's just
yeah.
like, 5 seconds is like a lifetime, or 1 minute is like, so long hours and just whatnot. So,
Yeah.
I
It's
feel
the equivalent of the SpongeBob writing meme, and then it's just the.
yeah, yeah,
It's the most
yeah,
beautiful the ever,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
uh,
I feel attacked. I don't appreciate it. Yeah, yeah.
but
Okay.
yeah, no, I'm fascinated to see what he does next. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's just so much you can do. Um, I was also thinking there's another kind of weirdo kind of like stop motion slash puppetry movie that came out in the 90s called Cabin Boy. And if you watch it, you'll watch it and be like, why is this just the Flapjack movie? Um, like, because it really is just, it feels a lot like Flapjack and SpongeBob,
Mm.
kind of almost mashed it together. Um, and it's about Chris Elliott, who's been in a bunch of stuff. If you see him, you'll know who he is.
Okay.
Started out in David Letterman, but have you ever seen Groundhog Day?
Oh yeah.
He's the cameraman.
Oh, okay.
And
Cool.
yeah, yeah. So he plays kind of like this snooty prep school guy, and he's supposed to go on a boat to Hawaii, but he ends up getting on a boat that's full of a bunch of sailors, and he ends up going on this like crazy journey full of like stop motion and puppetry characters, almost like a Jason and the Argonauts type thing.
Nice.
This came out in the '90s, and it's like all absurdist humor. And yeah, it's just like like I'm the perfect audience for this. I love that stuff, but it makes you wonder. It's like, not every audience member is me, so it's like sometimes I do wonder like why how these things get greenlit, even though I'm very happy they do. But
Yeah.
it's just like I don't feel like we take those chances anymore, which is sad. But I guess too many of these movies perform financially poorly,
I
so
mean,
maybe that's why we don't make them anymore.
I don't know. Well, it's the in between of like, do you want to take a risk upon a project that's too out? I don't know. It's about the risk taking, right? It's like, do you want to risk on like a project like this that you've put like so much like ideas and stuff within it. Like, is it going to be worth? You have to have the.
Mhm.
I guess it's part of the confidence and it's part of the trust of whoever's funding behind it and stuff like that to know
Yeah,
that this will bring out the quality and stuff like that. I think it's just as long as you have like a good plan in mind and you have a good crew, whatnot. It does it usually that comes out of it and stuff like that. And I would say that Monkey Bone is not a bad film. I just think
no,
I would
I
say
like it actually. I was very much into it. There were just things I would like to see the director's cut, to see all the stuff that was kind of like chopped up. Like
yeah,
that's really what I took from them. Like, this is such a cool movie where I'm just like, but I want to see more of what was intended.
yeah,
It's one of those unfortunate things of just like, something comes out and you kind of have to judge it on what was solely made. But with the advent of DVDs and everything, that's kind of changed, where you have deleted scenes, you have
yeah.
director's cuts and everything. So that's kind of what I left with. Anyway,
Anyway,
oh yeah, so K-Bird was asking. I think he might have left already, but sadly I have to get going. Can't stay any longer. Hope to get some. Will you post the rest of? Yeah, we will post the rest of the doodles to Twitter. So
we will. Yeah.
you will. Yeah. So thank you, K-Bird, for donating. You're still here. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're gonna draw some other stuff.
Yeah.
Let me check.
Yeah.
To see.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm neating up some doodles as well, just to make sure they're okay in terms of like arrange them so that it's not unlike when you post the canvas. It's not like on a wide canvas with empty space and whatnot. So I'll just make sure that it's edited okay. But yes, thank you.
Oh, we got $20 from
Oh,
K-Bird again too.
okay.
So we got. Hey, hang on. I gotta see.
Okay.
Did K-Bird just really leave us $20? That's awesome. Hang on.
Whoa.
I just want to make sure. Oh, I just gotta sit down. I started pacing for a second with my laptop in my hand. Lily from Tech. Yeah. Oh my God. He gave us $30.
Oh, whoa.
Awesome.
Dang.
Thank you so much, K-Bird. Clap for K-Bird. Thank you.
Thank you, K-Bird.
Yes. Awesome. Really appreciate it. I left another one. Oh, if anyone else wants one. Oh, okay. So, if you're in chat and you want a free doodle, I guess K-Bird is more than happy to pay for it. Yeah.
First come, first serve.
Yes, first come, first serve. Throw out a doodle idea in the chat. Make it YouTube appropriate, please, and we'll go from there. Yeah, I figure we'll go for like another hour or so, and then we'll probably just call it a day. But yeah, I don't know, Jack. What animated movies have you seen this year? Like, do you have any favorites this year?
I mean, I have a pretty bad memory when it comes to like recalling what stuff I've watched.
If I name some stuff, will that help?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's either gonna. It'll probably also make me really ashamed if I like haven't watched like some of these. Oh no,
that's all right. There's no judgment here.
Yeah, we'll go on. Hit me.
Yeah. Did you see? So the first one, I'll go off what I saw this year. Did you see Suzume, the Koto Shinkai movie? The guy did Your Name and everything.
Oh, no, I know.
I'm sorry.
The guy into a chair. Yes, so I know that. Okay, got you. I know that one. No, I haven't seen that one. I think I don't. Gosh, the animation of that films are so great and stuff, but I find the plots of those films so.
It leans very YA, right? Like it's very like yeah. I have a very very big soft spot for that kind of stuff. Like that is some of my like I don't know, maybe I'm like a big sap, but like I really love kind of like Your Name is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think just the storytelling in that movie, I mean, like is incredible. I think just like plot point to plot point, like it never lets up, and like you're always guessing as to what's happening. It's very like Twilight Zone-y in a weird way.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So I like that one. And Suzume, I just was like a thrill ride to me. Like more like it I will say if you don't like overly, no, I shouldn't say over, like, but very hyper emotional stuff, like it does get a little like emotionally taxing after a while. It's like, how much more can I cry? You know what I mean? Like, like it's like, how much more do you want to like destroy my soul kind of stuff? And I can understand people being like emotionally taxed by it to the point where it's like, all right, I feel like I'm being a little like manipulated by like everything that's going on here. But yeah, I also agree with like the YA stuff where it kind of does feel like a little like, true love and stuff like that. I totally agree with that. But I'm a big sap for that. I love kind of Destiny story. Yeah.
I mean,
but, I really like it. I think Suzume is like my second favorite of his.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Well, that's good to hear. I mean, I think I mean, I don't think I'm a kind of guy who's into that kind of stuff in terms of like romance. It depends upon the romance, though. I guess it depends upon if it's very much. I don't know. I mean, am I a romantic guy? I don't know. I think I like it when it's a bit. And I guess I like it when it's a bit more down to earth. I guess, which this film.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. You like more kind of like legitimate slice of life stuff.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
so. Yeah,
like
which is
basic,
just
basic
not.
reality. You're not like the fantasy romance guy.
It depends. It depends upon like how that is adapted in a way that's like because I can go along with the fancy. I guess if the fancy is too much distracting from the actual uh the relationship love development, I guess, in terms of like because I understand there might be metaphor within the fantasy aspect and stuff like that that help express the feelings of the characters and what's so in the story and context. But like at the same time, it's also it's I guess it's hard for me to grasp in terms of like those kind of stories where it's like if you rely on the fantasy of granted it's animation so it kind of needs to it should do I guess it's tough for me I guess in terms of way of like I guess it's complex to explain. I guess I'll try and answer like well I'm narrowing it down is that I think if it delves too much in a fantasy aspect that's when it kind of like loses me. I think there should be a balance in terms of like where that is in terms of like
Hmm.
if in terms of of a story that's about relationships and love and and romance
You
rather.
think basically you think the romance should be grounded in reality and kind of like not dictated by the fantasy itself.
Yeah, I think there should be like it's a balancing act for me. I think like if you dive too well into the idea behind the fantasy concept, then it becomes a bit distracting for me in terms of like well, for me, it's a bit of a distracting matter because I'm just like, what is, you know, because I guess I'm trying to delve into it where it's just like, I guess love is a very complex thing, I feel like I'm quoting Moulin Rouge. Love is the most splendid thing. All you need, and that's funny because that film's all about like goes into the fantasy, hyper crazy sort of thing. But then again, I guess it kind of worked because um it's done in a way and done in this world that gosh, it's such a complex. It's a, it's really hard for me to explain. I feel like I'm just I'm a harsh critic when it comes to romance. It's like it's the same thing when I feel like when I hear like when it comes to musicals, I'm kind of like a harsh critic when it comes to like if I don't like the songs, it's like I'm out of the musical. Even if it's a well acclaimed musical, it's like if I'm not feeling it, I'm just kind of like yeah, I'm out. But
Yeah, I hear you.
not
I hear you.
not to say that it's bad or anything like that. I'm
Uh-huh.
just yeah I'm. It's why I try to get into Your Name. I think I just kind of like maybe I
No, I
need to
hear what you're saying. Like it's I think it is it's one of those things where you have to kind of let the movie do its thing, and if you're
yeah
not on board with the movie's trying to do, then it might not be for you.
yeah
Um and it might like I feel like the kind of like very hard lean into the fantasy sci-fi aspect of
yeah
it. If you can't get down with that, like it is kind of hard to appreciate the other things about it.
yeah
Um I mean like maybe it's just me, but I'm like a sap for that stuff. Like
okay
I grew up watching the Twilight Zone and stuff like that. So like I'm
okay
very much into like the world is kind of like controlling the characters in an interesting way
yeah
and they're kind of trying to fight back against that. So I'm very much into that. But Suzume like kind of in many respects kind of follows the same ideas in a sense, but like the context for it was a lot heavier. I felt in this one, where it was just
okay
like it was much more personal and grounded in actual tragedy. Um,
I see okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Despite it
I re-
including like an animate chair sort of like
yes, exactly. You would think the one with the inanimate chair would go too far, right?
yeah
But no, I really loved it, and it was
okay
good.
cool
What else we got this year? We have hang on, let me jump. Thank you, Letterboxd, for showing me what I've seen this year. I appreciate it. I'm gonna jump on here. So activity, no, I don't want that. I want films.
um
Definitely
I'm just gonna pop to the loo quickly. That's okay.
go for it. Yeah, go for it. I will try
I'll
to talk to people.
yeah I'll be back in 1 minute. Just give me a second. Ooh.
All right. Hey guys, whoever's in here, just let you know there is a free doodle up for commission. If you want it, K-Bird nicely sent us some money. Oh yeah, absolutely, K Master, absolutely, dude. We'd love to give you some Enid. So that is claimed now. The doodle, awesome, dude. How are you guys doing? I haven't heard a whole lot from the chat except for from K-Bird. K-Master, how are you doing today? I see you in do I see you in Jim's chat a lot? Like, are you a fan of Jim? I can't remember. Am I misremembering here? We'll see. Hopefully, when the audio catches up, I'll be able to answer. I wish streams were instantaneous. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, Jim. I've only met Jim once, but we're pretty obviously we have the ongoing Dark City gag. Um, but he's really cool. I hope if he ever comes out to LA, we can chill. Because that's where I am now. We both used to live in New York City. So I'm kind of surprised we never really got like pizza or anything. But no, Jim is the best. I'm glad Movie Crap is back, although kind of like a little on and off. I don't think there's like a set schedule for it yet, right? Because he stopped doing it on Saturday nights, I think. Am I wrong on that? At some point, you should take one of his DVDs as revenge. Oh, that's not a bad idea. That is not a bad idea at all. What DVD should I take from Jim? What would break his heart more than anything? Oh, well. Oh, it's on Wednesdays now, huh? Okay, that's good. I'm glad. I'll have to pop in more. I go to there's a couple of streams I watch on Wednesdays. I feel like Wednesday is like a popular day to stream now for some reason. I don't know why.
I'm back.
Oh, hey Jack. We were just talking about I don't know if you're familiar. K Master, we got a request for the doodle, by the way.
Oh, cool.
K Master in chat would like to claim it and says he wants Enid from OKKO.
Cool.
Yeah. That's
Cool.
a good one.
That's a good one.
You want to do a Christmas Enid?
Yeah. I feel like to keep in the holidays, I feel like every all the characters that we draw tonight are just gonna have little Christmas hats on.
Yeah, you can
Like,
put a Christmas hat on Lily.
Put a Christmas hat on Lily, yeah. Hopefully,
Oh, I'm gonna keep this monkey bone one though.
Okay, all right. I'll do my best to.
Did you see? I posted this. Okay, so this whole monkey bone thing really started months ago.
Okay.
And this is the last I'll talk about monkey bone because I'm tired of saying monkey bone. But this whole thing started months ago where I posted a selfie because I was just like, oh, "That was a funny looking selfie." So I posted it. Well, no, I sent it to my friend, and then he just replied with a picture of Brendan Fraser and Monkey Bone, and it was the exact same face. We were doing the exact same expression. So that happens, and I post it to Twitter saying like, "What the hell?" I post a selfie and the picture.
Okay.
And then my friend, my friend Ash on Twitter, she's like, "Oh, can I do something with this?" And I said, "Okay." So she took the picture and she just drew Monkey Bone into it. I will. I'll send it to you. Do not put this on chat.
Okay. All right.
I'll send. Hang on. Monkey. Yeah. Hang on. Selfie. I was laughing really hard. Picture. Where is this thing? Yeah, this was. Oh my gosh. That's not it. I don't know where I put this. Hang on. Ashley, Pat. Okay. This is where it should be. Here we go. I found it. Here you go, Jack.
Okay.
For your consumption only. I did post it to Twitter, so if anyone wants to take a look.
Okay, just put the loading screen for 1 second.
It's
That's
actually really well done, honestly.
that's amazing. That's so good.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
great.
oh my goodness, I love it.
Well, if you search, let's say if you search the words my username mutant astronaut and sorcery, that should be the first thing that comes up. But I sent you the
That's
comparison picture.
yeah, I see. Oh my good. That's yeah, and actually that's really funny as well because I'm using that as a reference right now in terms of so yeah. Oh dang, I should have like had him like well yeah. Oh, that's great though. That's great.
Yeah.
How is that not
I'm
your
gonna.
profile pic?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always use drawn profile pics. I don't
Okay. All right. Okay.
like
Fair.
have for some reason, but
Okay. That's
yeah,
fair.
we'll see. We'll see.
All right. No
All right.
worries.
I'm gonna pop off for 1 second as well. I'll be right
No
back.
worries. Hey everybody. Um. It's funny because while I was just like on the way to the loo, I was trying to think about like what other films uh have I seen this year, and it's bad. I feel like I mean I'm worried if the films that I did see made enough impact. 'Cause I'm struggling to like remember. Then again, I feel like there's been a lot of it's just probably because there's a lot of good stuff that's also come out this year that I feel like I'm like need to catch up on watching and whatnot. So um, actually, I'm trying to recall what films. And if I search or hang on, I'll tell you what I did. Actually, no, I did watch the Spider Verse, of course. That was yeah, that was definitely like probably the most tense animated film I've seen this year. I think from like the halfway point to the end, my heart was going like I was like having almost like heart palpitations in terms of just like because it was very it was stressful. Like I feel like it was just like so tense upon like what Miles is going through in terms of like then having all this element of like this you know the the multiverse in terms of like and the stakes and such. It was very tense. To go through. And we were going through it with him, so that's why I was just like clenched to my cinema chair, just being like going through with him the emotions and just like the action and whatnot. So that was oh my god, the Super Mario Brothers movie came out this year as well. Yeah, I watched that as well, and oh, hey Gary. I was just trying to recall like what animated films I also saw because I feel like
Yeah, I forgot the Mario movie came out this year.
yes, it did. I did see that because I think well
It was certainly a Mario movie.
it was certainly a Mario movie. I think it did. To be fair, I think it did justice in terms of it being like. Here's the thing. It wasn't gonna. It wasn't gonna. It was. I don't think it was. It doesn't win. It wasn't gonna get the best story. But it was definitely in terms of a Mario movie. It's the best Mario movie that there is out there, and I think it did everything right in its way of being that. So, and I still had a fun time watching it. I think I eventually warmed up to Chris Pratt Mario and Seth
Yeah,
Green Donkey
Charlie
Kong
Luigi was with it, right?
and Chuch
The Charlie Day Luigi
yes,
voice was
yes.
worth it.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
He's,
Well, he was. Yeah, I knew he was going to be great anyway from from that casting announcement. So,
yeah.
and Peach was good.
I just wanted to say something really quick. That my friend Nick is in chat right now. Nick, who's a fellow filmmaker here at LA, that
Oh, cool.
I met last year through another friend out here in LA, which is one of the craziest stories ever, which
Oh,
I'll get
cool.
into in a second. But please, just want to say, hey Nick, how you doing? Um, yeah, you should check out if anybody's listening, you should check out Nick's channel. He just commented his last comment. He's got a bunch of cool stuff on there, and as well as his Instagram as well. But yeah, I wanted to say that yeah, Mario was a lot of fun. Like
Yeah.
it did exactly what it said it was going to do. It was a Mario movie.
Yes. Yes. And
Yeah.
I hope. Yes, and it was just reassuring. I mean, I hope they do continue it because obviously there's a lot more characters and worlds and stuff that it can definitely include into it. Like, so hopefully there's a sequel.
Mhm.
And I guess at the time it made me reassured that, oh, so maybe if they explored other animated projects within their, other, headline properties and whatnot, then maybe it'll be okay. So like, I was thinking
Yeah.
of like, oh, an animated Zelda, like, yeah, that would make sense. Until I found
Yeah,
out
they're
that
doing live action though, aren't they? Aren't they doing
the
live action Zelda?
yeah, until I found out that, oh, they're doing a live action. So that's definitely put me as a bit of concern there. But
If
it
they
was
do it with, like, puppets, that'll be cool.
yeah. No, that's
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I would be into, like, if they did, like, a Willow type thing, where they kinda made it like that.
Oh, sweet. Oh, you're thinking like, oh, okay. I was I
Yeah, more so than, like, Lord of the, because the director said he didn't wanna do, like, Lord of the Rings, like, because he felt like it was too kind of, like, heavy-handed for,
hmm,
like, not heavy-handed, but maybe, like, too intense for, like, a Zelda movie. Um, but, like, I think, but he said something, he made a very interesting comment where he's like, "Oh, I wanna do, like, a live action Miyazaki movie," and then everyone's response was like, "So, not a Miyazaki movie."
yeah,
Um, but no, I mean, I kind of see where he's coming from, where he kind of wants to do like a high fantasy, very kind of like maybe like a very lighter, much lighter in tone than Lord of the Rings
yeah.
kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
It is Terra.
so yeah, I'd be interested to see what they do with that. But yeah, I mean, there's other things. I heard there's gonna be like a Donkey Kong movie next
I'll be down for
too.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there were those movies. You talk about Spider Verse, I heard too. I
yeah.
liked Spider Verse. Um, I think I like the first one a little more still,
Sure.
but the stakes in this one were pretty interesting.
I mean, I
Um,
think it's definitely the most tense animated film I've seen this year.
sure,
In terms of
sure.
just like the what went down with the plot and whatnot, and what Miles went through, and just yeah, I was like, my heart was like, I was going through like heart palpitations from the halfway point to the end. So, and the thing is
Which
now
like
though,
the entire like sequence basically.
yeah, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
So now
yeah,
they're at that's the thing now. Now they're at this high point right now where it's like, you know, it's like, well, what? How are they gonna, they are at this high point of this roller coaster. I just hope they can nail that landing going forward in the
yeah.
sequel. So fingers crossed. Hopefully that's going to be the case. Um, but yeah, yeah. But again, I had a good time with that. I was just trying to think of other animated films that I saw this
I
year.
saw. I've got a couple on here.
Okay.
Um,
You know what annoyed me? Actually, and I think you're gonna be not happy with me that I haven't seen it yet. Because I was gonna see in October. 'Cause I was gonna make some time for it, and then I lost time because of work.
uh,
Nimona. I need to.
oh yeah, Nimona was. I had one more before Nimona, but yeah, we could talk about Nimona.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, I definitely need to catch up on that film because I've been I've been meaning to anyway. I was kind of disappointed
Sitting
that
there
it
on
was.
Netflix for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's annoying that it was. I thought it was sure that it was going to get nominated for, best at the Oscars.
Yeah, Golden Globe at least. You
Yeah,
figure.
yeah,
We'll see. I mean, the Oscars play out a little differently than the Golden Globes sometimes. I know a lot of people like to use the Golden Globes to like predict the Oscars,
yeah.
but I think for animated, it's going to be different. We'll see, but
Mm.
we'll see. Suzume was nominated this year, so that was cool.
Yes. Uh,
Oh,
let me see.
um,
I'm trying to
but
listen.
yeah, there were a lot of good movies that could have been nominated and weren't, unfortunately. But you know, I don't feel like the promotional push for Nimona was as strong as it could have been, unfortunately.
Sure. Okay.
And that's always kind of a, if the people who are voting aren't aware of that the movie even came out, unfortunately, it's going to fall into kind of obscurity. Suzume had a very big push, believe it or not, um,
Hmm.
for an anime film, which kind of surprised me. Um, and it ended up doing pretty well, I think. A lot of Japanese films did well this year. The Godzilla minus one, which I still haven't seen, but apparently
Yeah.
was like a massive hit, even though it was only out for 1 week here.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, my friends actually, most of my friends saw it as well, and they were just like, "Oh my god, it's pretty, it's pretty stellar. Yeah, it's pretty, pretty amazing film."
I'll definitely have to check it out.
Mm.
But yeah, Nimona is probably, if it's not Suzume, like Nimona is probably my favorite this year. Like those two are up there.
Mm.
Um, the story in Nimona was so strong and like really relatable and like a lot of fun. And ND Stevenson is a really good writer. I've
Hmm.
liked their stuff since She-Ra and stuff. Oh no, I mean they also did they did what's it called? Oh, they did a comic called Lumberjanes, which is a lot of fun, I believe.
Lumberjanes.
Uh,
Yeah, I know about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's good. And then like Lumberjanes, and then Nimona was a comic. Um, and then I believe they also did like an autobiographical comic. All really good stuff. But then like She-Ra was like, I was surprised at how much I like She-Ra, because like by the second season, like the stakes get so big and like it gets really dark. So I think going into Nimona, I had like a lot of faith knowing that they had done She-Ra, and then
Hmm.
obviously I don't know how much ND was involved with the movie, but I'm assuming they were like a part of it. So
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I thought it was good.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I need to. Yeah, I think
I know. You'll get to it eventually. You'll get to it eventually.
I will. It is. It's on my very, very big to watch list.
Yeah. I
It's-
I also saw the one the movie that was also a movie that also wasn't advertised well. I liked Ruby Gillman actually quite a bit.
oh yeah.
I think yeah, I thought it was cute. I think it was two different movies in one movie, but I think for that it was fine. I liked the slice of life stuff more than the kind of like superhero stuff,
Yeah.
but I thought it was fine. And the animation on Ruby herself was really cool. Like the way they make her stretch and squash and stuff was. I wanted more of that kind of. I wanted more of just like the wacky, like, ooh, I'm a weird girl in a normal high school stuff. But it's something I hope kind of gets a little more maybe reevaluated as the years go on, more or less.
Yes.
Because I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah. I mean, visually, I think
Um,
it looks pretty. Like the visuals, I think towards it, like the character designs, I really liked. Just
yeah,
that definitely. And
absolutely.
but yeah, yeah, maybe, yeah. I hope that film gets a second wind when it comes to well, it is like now probably on streaming and whatnot, but then I hope that gains gains more attention and stuff, and then it can gain more of a
Yeah.
following from there.
What else? Let me check my list. They're going up, up, up. Oh, the new Ninja Turtles. I saw
Yeah.
that. Did you
Oh.
not see it yet?
No.
It's all right. It's just a great Ninja Turtles movie. That's all I have to really say about it.
It's
Like,
great.
if you like the Ninja Turtles, you'll like the movie. That's pretty much the only thing I can say about it. I loved it. It was fun.
We probably didn't. It
Um,
probably didn't air. Well, it probably wasn't shown over here because we have to put it under Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
do you
Um,
still have to do that over there?
no, I'm joking. We don't have to do that now.
Okay, all right. I was
But,
shocked. I was like, the rule is still in effect. Like, you guys can't use nunchucks anymore either.
no, no. It's against the law. You can't.
He's a great. Got to replace that with a grappling hook.
Yeah. Which I swear is more lethal than a nunchuck. I'm pretty sure.
And more easily attainable than nunchucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my thought exactly. It's just like like surely that's
Yeah. So saw those. Next, let's see. Saw the Powerpuff Girls movie in theaters, which was really cool.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a 35 millimeter screening of that, which was awesome. Shame what happened with that movie, that they said like, Craig, make it darker, and he makes it darker. It's like, Craig, is this too dark?
Yeah.
He's like, but you said make it darker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad because it's a really cool movie. It's really cool. It's just like a big budget episode of the show, basically.
Yeah, I
Which is
love.
awesome.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I'm surprised by that. Like, I think. I'm glad. I don't know if I would have. No, I think I would have appreciated that film obviously if I saw it when I was young. In fact, I remember it being advertised, and I was like really wanted to go to see it in the cinemas, but I never got a chance to.
It's a very weird summer for movies because I remember the specific summer that came out. That was the same summer as like a lot of sequels. So like I remember Men in Black 2 was out. There was a sequels and remakes, and the Planet of the Apes movie had also come out that year, the Tim Burton one.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I saw both of those in theaters, and I was just like, I wish I had seen the Powerpuff Girls instead. Uh, But I saw it on VHS eventually. This is really cool. So getting to see it in like a movie theater was awesome.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it was great. Did I really not see anything after that?
Did you see
I could be
Elemental?
right. I did not. Did you?
No.
No.
And it's a list. I mean,
Yeah.
Elemental had such a stigma against it, right? It had like bit
Well,
of a
it kind of looked like a rom com, which I mean, I don't mind that. I write slice of life stuff all the time. I don't know. It kind of slipped under my radar a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't much like I was like, oh, I'm not gonna go see that. I just slipped under my radar. Um, but no, that came out, and then I think that also came out in, like the midst of Spider Verse and everything
Oh, okay.
too. So maybe that's why. Maybe it was just two competing things. But the last thing I really have on here, outside that Bill Plimpton movie I had mentioned last time we were doing a meeting, which if you don't know who Bill Plimpton, the chat doesn't know who Bill Plimpton is, get ready to have your mind rearranged by
Oh,
his
boy.
stuff. But yeah, the only other one I have on here that's technically a movie. I mean, like, cause I'll go by what Letterbox dictates, and since we can talk about it, this was the Scott Pilgrim anime, um, which we kind of talked about a little bit before the stream. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean that was pretty great. I had a lot of fun with that one.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just it's well, I think it's always good to like. I mean, depending on what people wanted, I don't know what people wanted from that show, and well, granted, I did know. I'm just glad that it
Yeah, I
did
mean they
go.
wanted a direct adaptation.
Yeah, but I'm glad it kind of went in the other way because I think as especially for these exes, the characters of the exes that we don't really know much about aside from their introduction history with Ramona and when they're fighting Scott and whatnot, to get more of their character out of them, it was so yeah, it was really great to dive into that so much more. Like it's so funny that the literally even from the title, we should have seen the clues from the title of the show. Scott Pilgrim takes off, like he
Yeah.
literally. I mean, I joked. It literally just becomes Ramona versus the world kind of thing. That's
Yeah,
what
and
the
if it
series.
had been marketed as that, I feel like it would have been a harder sell, right?
Yeah,
Like, because everybody wanted the Scott Pilgrim anime, and you technically got it.
yeah,
So like, it's I don't know. I still have a very weird reaction to the whole like we were deceived thing. Because to me, like, it's a weird distinction because we were talking about kind of like trailers deceiving people before, like
mm,
mentioned like the Kangaroo Jack trailer or like the Bridge to Terabithia trailer and stuff
yeah,
like that, and like those, like, to me the Bridge to Terabithia one is a mislead. Like, I think there's a mislead between. I think there's a difference between a mislead and a deception. Like a
mm,
deception feels like it feels like they're intentionally kind of wanting you to go to the theater for like one thing or watch a show for one thing,
yeah,
and like they want to build it up. It's like, yes, it is this thing.
yeah,
And then they kind of like pull the wool from over your eyes, and it's like, oh no, haha, we got you. Whereas like a mislead is like, oh, you think you know what you're getting, huh? Like, well, we're about to surprise you with something totally different, and like
yeah,
you're gonna love it. And I feel like whoever put out, I feel like, I don't know, it's like a different read kind of thing.
mm,
Um, you know, I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was great. I had a lot of fun with it.
yeah,
It's got some minor pacing issues, but other than that, I was just like, yeah, this is great. And
yeah,
I think it tells a really interesting story. And we had kind of also talked about before, like you had maybe, yes, that is Enid Crossy. Um,
yeah.
also, you have to, when you're done with Enid, you have to go back and put a Christmas hat on Cody because it has to be Christmas. Um,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. But all the
uh,
characters, yeah, got it.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I loved all the explorations of the X's, and like most of them didn't even really like necessarily get like crazy deep backstories or anything, right? Like they just
No,
kind of got like 2 or 3 minutes of like, here's my perspective. It wasn't like they went deep in on every single one of them.
No,
Um,
but it was just cool that we got more of that insight and stuff. You know, it was just I think,
yeah,
gosh, I think of like, I mean, granted, and it was what they did with the characters as well. Like I think it was episode 3 when there was the fourth X. Um, help me with the name, Gary.
a fourth. Oh, what, Todd
No, no,
or
no,
Roxy? Roxy is
Roxy.
the fourth act.
Yeah, that whole
Yeah,
like that fight scene in the video store and stuff like that. That was so cool. Like
yeah.
it was cool, and while they're doing that, exploring the character, like like why the fallout happened and such like that. Like it was such
And
a
it wasn't overly explained. It was very like visual storytelling as to
yeah,
what like happened between them.
yeah,
So I thought that was really cool. And like, the resolve of that, where they both finish the fight and they're just like laying there in like the water has been
yeah,
great. It's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I just
Yeah.
yeah, I think I really yeah. It was such yeah. I think it just makes me appreciate the X's more. I guess it makes me appreciate these characters that are like that. They get just as much as development as Scott and Ramona does, and everyone somehow gets development in this show
World.
that
Yeah.
and and it's just cool to see and revisit characters and like I laughed at like gosh, young Neil's so funny in the show.
Yeah. Oh my God. He was the star of the show.
Kind of was, yeah. Just some of his like it's almost like just I just thought like the way that he was writing his script and whatnot, like it's almost like I was like thinking to myself like, man, is this how Gary does it? Like you just write, you go to sleep and
I fall asleep and then a mysterious person shows up and writes a script for me.
you sleep paralysis demon,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like if more people gave the show a chance past the first episode, they'd find something they really liked.
yeah,
But I think most people liked it. That was the crazy thing. I feel like the people who were a little disappointed by it, and didn't really go past the first episode were kind of in the minority a little. Um,
mm,
but maybe just because negativity gets more press, that it felt a little louder. Um,
mm,
but I don't know. Like to those people, I'm like, if it wasn't what you wanted, that I guess I understand. It's just like, oh man, like that sucks. But I don't know. I would just say give the show another chance. Like just like I think you'll find something you really like in it. But I don't know. And then I know there were some people who felt like, oh, this kind of contaminates the original comics because like Scott become. Well, I don't want to spoilers. I don't know if anybody. Well, it's been what? It's been like a month now since it's come out.
spoiler warning. Mute your video for like
30 to 40
yeah,
seconds.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, spoiler warning.
yeah.
This is the last warning, and we're going to the spoilers now. If you haven't seen it, Scott becomes in the future kind of becomes like a jerk. Ramona and him have like an unofficial divorce. It's more of like a break. And he kind of gets self-conscious about that, and he's the one who's pulled Scott back to out of the fight, kind of like faking his death, more or less. It's kind of the catalyst for the whole series. And by the end, they fight Evil Scott, who's even older now, and a lot of people felt that kind of contaminated the ending of the original. And I don't know if I agree with that because this is its own canon, like it's its
Yeah.
own thing. Yeah, the comic still ends the way the comic ends.
Yeah.
So
Although I will say it's like it's just every it does bring a more roundabout way for these. It gives a happier ending to these characters, a more complete ending, a more just
thinking about that too, I would argue in the comic it's more of like the movie. And I'm not gonna feel bad about spoiling the movie or the comic at this point. It's been
sure,
years.
sure.
But like in the comic, it's more of like Scott and Ramona's relationship is kind of up in the air. Like everything seems like they've kind of ironed a few things out. Like in the movie, it's like a one more chance kind of thing. I'd argue in the book, kind of like that too, even though they've been dating for a little while.
Hmm.
It's still kind of uncertain. In this, I felt more comfortable in that Scott and Ramona had grown as people,
Yeah,
and I was like, no, they'll probably be okay. I think future Scott isn't anything to worry about anymore.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I think the power of love defeated them.
yeah.
So
Yeah, that's funny. That is really it's a this is a romance tale as well. So like I I wonder if I wonder why I didn't like. I guess though, because it technically also it was, but it also wasn't.
Yeah,
So like,
it kind of it's because it's more of a personal growth tale that leads into the romance.
yeah,
It's because they're able to grow as people that
yeah.
the romance is there. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I liked it quite a bit, and that was I still haven't seen Boy and the Heron, so that'll probably be the last thing I see this year.
Very, very
No.
curious. I haven't seen any. I haven't actually watched trailers or anything like that. I'm very curious to go in blind into that film, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing that anyway. If it comes out, I got like a indie uh, cinema near me, so I'm hoping to see that in indie cinema really when it comes out.
Yeah.
So,
Sure. Yeah,
um,
that's it's playing. It's playing. I think at the theater down the street from me, but
hmm.
I am really interested to see that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know what else I'm super interested in right now. I went to that animated film festival, saw a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, I
If I
actually,
could, yeah,
I was going to say, if is there anything that you want to shout out in
right.
terms of like,
Yeah, let me shout out some fellow indie people that I saw. I have a whole list here of things you guys should check out. Let's scroll on down. Here we go. Okay. So this one is not online yet, but it's called Roadkill Jamboree. It's by Megan Graham. It's a um it's a stop motion 2D mashup about roadkill singing ska music. Um and it's also a PSA, which is great. It kind of becomes a PSA about roadkill by the end. About how to avoid killing animals on the road. Very, very, very charming, very morbid, but very, very wholesome at the same time. It was very, very interesting mashup of things. So go check out Megan Graham's Instagram. I believe her name is on Instagram is bu- 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 bu-
blah 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 blah
Megan
at Instagram?
Megan Graham Megan underscore Graham underscore crackers. So yeah, go check her stuff out. If you can look up Roadkill Jamboree, you should be able to find her stuff. Um, I want to recommend Cal Arts thesis film called The Sea Lion. Very, very cute. Um, Simple story about a family that runs a seafood restaurant and has to impress a critic. Very, very cute. Love that. Uh, Directed by Rebecca Payne. Um, the Voice in the Hollow was a really, really cool one. Made in Unreal Engine and about kind of like a African tribe, two sisters kind of like competing to be a warrior in their tribe, and one of them, the little sister, is really jealous of the older sister, and that's kind of where I'll leave it because the rest of it unfolds in a very viscerally unsettling way. I'll just say that.
Ooh.
Directed by Miguel Ortega and written by Tran Ma. Um, Pigeonholed, which you can find online. Really, you can find a couple of these online. You can find everything so far on YouTube except for Roadkill Jamboree. Um, Pigeonholed, about a noirish pigeon going into a bar. Really, really cool exercise. Not exercise, just really cool, like short. It kind of almost felt like a prompt in a way, and then she kind of just went off with it and created a whole world of noir pigeons. It was just cool. Um, and the ending is just amazing. It's directed by Courtney Chapman. Really good stuff. I have one here called Perfect City: The Bravest Kid. Um, a really, really cool, like almost liquid television, simple not simple, but very like like it's like these stop motion paper people that like the designs are very simple but like very memorable. Um, Kind of all about like nightmares and stuff like that. Directed by let me see if I can get this name here. Uh, Zhao Shengwei. Okay, and then finally, the one there's one I got here called 95 Senses, which was one of the bigger films at the festival. It was directed by Jared Hess, who directed Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre. And it
Nice.
stars what's his name? Tim Blake Nelson as the narrator in it. It's just a really good story about like an old man and like the choices he's made. I don't want to spoil anything other than that. Really good. The trailer is online. And also I should mention that Perfect City, The Bravest Kid isn't online either, but I'm sure they'll pop up eventually once the festival circuit kind of um drops them online rather. Uh, but yeah, those are my picks from the festival. All really cool stuff.
Rad.
Yeah. So Crossy Hossy says Mutant Mayhem was one of their favorite movies of the year. Yeah, I mean, I thought a really good time with Mutant Mayhem. The style was really cool. It's cool to see like post Spider-Verse people kind of experimenting more with what you can do in CG, and making it a little more kind of like personal to like the director's style. It doesn't have to fit into like a specific mold anymore. I feel like
Yeah.
remember that era of like CG movies that they all kind of ran similar. Like everyone had like a specific style of how they did CG. Like every studio had a style, and now I feel like we're kind of like breaking that a little bit and kind of going off and like letting people get a little weirder.
Well,
So like I wouldn't even say Spider-Verse was the first one to do it because like I would argue Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs kind of like I think it innovated a little bit in that like it let people make the characters a little more rubbery and cartoonish and like have a little more fun with the physics of the world. And then I would also argue that Hotel Transylvania, the Gendy just directed the hell out of those. So I would argue that he kind of pushed the envelope as well.
I wonder if I'm trying to think of like if there's anything before Cloudy that really pushed like a visual CGI style in terms of like it's like as a stylistic look and whatnot. I can't really.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, you could argue that Final Fantasy movie, what was it called?
The Spirits Within. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that was. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, that. To be honest, I appreciate that movie on some levels,
Sure.
but I do feel like its goal was to create a video game cutscene. You know what I mean? Like it's like we want to make it look a little more hyper realistic than the normal kind of
Yeah.
video game, the normal CGI movie. I don't know. It's a very fascinating case in film history.
It was such a concern as well at the time because it was like Hollywood was just all the actors in Hollywood was just like this is going to replace us. We're not going to be needed after this. Because they could just like make any character and whatnot, and computer right. They're not going to need us faces anymore or something like that.
Still a concern.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, it's funny how that message has come across again.
Yeah.
Nowadays. So, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like just I don't know. I feel like that film. I think I didn't have a. I don't think I had the worst time watching that film, but I definitely was just like, what does this have to do
It's a
with Final
fascinating.
Fantasy?
Yeah. It's just not Final Fantasy, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's a fascinating kind of. I don't know. It's like I can't think of another point in time where something like that would have been made.
No.
Just on the cusp of the PS2 coming out, I think, and
Wow.
like
Goodness.
I
Yeah.
think Sony was like the biggest name at that point. So it's like, yeah, let's just do something crazy. Let's go crazy with like a movie, and they did, and it did not do very well at the box office. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think K Master had mentioned that Sony kind of did kickstart this trend of kind of more stylized CG, and yeah, I believe that. That sounds very in line, kind of with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I loved Mitchell's versus the Machines. That's probably of all of these kind of more stylized animated comedies. That one's my favorite. I love it so
Mm.
much.
Add it
Did you
onto the
see that
list.
too?
Add it onto the list.
Oh come on! It's so good.
I'm so. I
So
feel like
funny.
I I I
It,
I I I know. I live through most of these films, I guess, through like all the clips and trailers and stuff that I watch nowadays. I'm just like, dang, I really need to watch this, and then I just don't, and I feel like so bad because I'm just like, I feel like I'm missing out on like a lot of good stuff here. I think if a film really needs to like, there's gonna be some kind of agenda in the films, like where I just need to like that really pushes me to go out to see it in the cinema, or like if it's on streaming, I guess to get it actually up on streaming. Like I think that's the thing. I need to be in the right mindset to like finally like calm, settle down. I'm gonna watch a film, and I guess nowadays I'm right now not as calm as I used to be.
Yeah, I feel you. Feel you.
So
All right, we're about to hit uh quite a while. We're about 2 hours into the stream. I think we're gonna call it here.
mhm.
Before we post it, we'll make sure we put Christmas hats on everybody.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm way ahead of you. I'm way ahead of you.
okay. All right.
So
So this was a lot of fun. I had a lot of good time.
mhm.
We had some good chats about movies. We had some viewer interaction, which is always fun.
Thank you. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and once again, thank you to hang on, make sure. Let me just make sure that nobody else donated a coffee. Uh, uh, no, I think we're good. I think we're good to call this one.
Okay. Cool.
Um, all right, guys, thank you so much for coming out to this. We saw the viewers go up and down, but that's cool. It's cool that anybody stopped in. We really appreciate any interest in what we're doing. And yeah, we have the new episode coming out soon. We hope. Don't want to put a date on it quite yet, but
No.
we will have a date soon. I assure you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'd like to emphasize. I'm not like because we've it's almost like I swear it's like we're kind of just it's more the fact of like everything is coming together and it's just bit by bit. It's like it's like the scenes are like so close to coming together. It's just more the fact of just like it's just some of the shots are taking longer than others. So
Yeah,
uh,
this one is pretty. It's been interesting doing the conversation scenes in this one because they're a little more emotional, I
they're
guess.
they're deep.
So there's a
Yeah.
lot going on in the characters' faces, and it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to. Not hard, but it's kind of a little more complex than what we usually do.
I mean, I'm definitely looking for. I mean, I think I was looking forward to this one initially anyway because it was a lot of like for me it was fun to like try and figure out how to have the characters emote in a way that's very um it's subtle in terms of like the emotion that the characters portray in the conversations that JC and
Mhm.
Cody are talking to each other because they go quite not deep is a wrong word. I guess it's more very reflective and such. So you want to in my case, I'm trying to do that right in terms of these characters and to make the shots and scenes work in that. So and hopefully it's going to show in the end result anyway. So please look forward to it, and I appreciate everyone's patience on it anyway. So um,
Yeah, I want to say that it's so good to see everybody kind of supporting us through kind of the more um the more some of the delays and everything. It's been really nice. And I also want to give another shout out to kind of really love the Prezi's two failing upward shorts. Can't wait for the throne. Yeah, no,
thank you.
it's we really truly appreciate that, and the fact that it's been so cool to see people get on board with them.
Mhm.
It's really heartwarming because we've been working on this for several years now, and I'm just glad we're even doing it, to be honest, because I feel
Mm,
like so many people have ideas for indie stuff and they're really good ideas, and some people don't have the resources, and the fact that we get to do this every we get to meet every couple weeks and really work on it, and it's just been such a great experience. Honestly, it's from a writing standpoint, it's so cool to see stuff that I write down get visualized. And then also, I think everybody's been adding such amazing stuff to it, and every team member we've worked with so far has been awesome.
hmm Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good team. I ditto. I guess just ditto. Yeah, don't want to make
Yeah.
it schmaltzy.
Uh,
Like, no.
no, it's cool. And then just a shout out to Newgrounds again too for really embracing us,
Mm,
and shout out to Tom for featuring us on the front page, and hope we can make it again.
yeah,
That's my greatest hope, is that we can get up there again, and we're really excited to show you guys what we have, and
yeah.
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I will say also. I hope we please also look forward to more streams. I hopefully in the next year or so we're going to hopefully going to get more streams out there in
Yeah,
terms of
and
like
the next one we have, we're gonna bring one of our OG members on here, Wes Ends, um, who did all the storyboards for the episodes,
mm,
who been a big guiding hand in how everything's been done so far.
hmm
Um, so yeah, very excited to get him in here. Uh,
we'll
All right.
hopefully we'll have also some music in the background. I know it's been
Yeah. Some royalty-free music.
yeah.
um, yeah, some lo-fi hip hop beats to study to for sure. Um,
I don't
all
know.
right,
Yeah.
guys. Very happy holidays, Jack. Very happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays, Gary, and happy holidays to everyone
Yeah.
else in the chat.
Yes. We'll see you guys hopefully next month.
Yeah.
All right.
Look forward to it. All right, sound guys. Thanks so much.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.